What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you stopping by. And in this video, we've got 10 very specific cheap fragrances. So there's tons of bargain bin fragrances out there. Cheap is what you make of it. For me, it's in the sub $50 price point. For some people, it's below 30 bucks. For some people, it's below 100. Your budget and how you feel about certain things will determine what you deem cheap. But like I said, for me, sub $50 price point. And in this video, like I said, those 10 specific cheap fragrances are ones that I deem worth checking out. Not every cheap fragrance is worth getting just because it's cheap. Admittedly, I like to roll the dice on a lot of these to try to find stuff that's worth getting so I can talk about it with you guys before you go out and spend your money. And like I said, these 10 particular ones I think are worth your money. Some don't get any love anymore. Some are flying under the radar, and some are pretty popular, and you can see why a lot of people like them. So let's talk about these 10. Stay tuned. Starting with one that I would advise, keep an eye out at Marshall's and TJ Maxx, so you can find it for around 25 bucks for 50 ml. You can find it for around 40 or less online. Fantastic daytime signature scent worthy fragrance. We're talking about Davidoff's Cool Water Parfum. This is my favorite version of Cool Water, hands down. You get a little bit of citrus at the top. There's some lemon. There's a nice sweet spice to this pink pepper. It's not quite as sweet, more soft spicy if anything. Nice lightly earthy vetiver. There is a little bit of an ambroxan shower gel feel. It smells so good, it really does. Even though that's not in the note breakdown, I do get a little bit of an ambroxan shower gel type of tone to this. It's got a little, like I said, a little bit of earthy vetiver that provides a slight smoky tone. It does everything really well, in my opinion. Projection is very present without being overwhelming. It's long lasting. It doesn't smell super cheap like some of the Cool Water fragrances can. It's a solid fragrance, and you can get it for a really good price point. This is one that I think is good for all ages and good for every situation, all 4 seasons. That's why I say it's signature scent worthy. You can just get this and go on about your business, and this can be the one fragrance that you wear for everything. Now, if you want a little bit more variety, obviously we've got other fragrances to talk about, but if you're just looking for one, that's why I started this video with this particular fragrance. Definitely worth checking out. The Davidoff Cool Water Parfum. Next is one that's kind of flying under the radar. I did a full review on this one not that long ago. Underrated in its own line because there is a few that get more hype in this particular line. We're talking about the Mercedes-Benz Man line. It's Mercedes-Benz Man Grey. I haven't wore this one in a little while myself. When I first got it, I was wearing it pretty often. Really good fragrance. A little bit of an ambery feel. It's a little smoky, a little warm and spicy, but there's still a touch of freshness at the top. Doesn't really smell like everything. A little bit of a blue fragrance feel, but not quite a blue fragrance. Like I said, smoky, a little like dark ambery type of nuance to this fragrance, but still a great daytime wear. This is a fantastic scent profile for work. I think it can be pulled off casually as well. A nice polo shirt, for example, works really well with this particular scent profile. This is one that just works for just about everything, kind of like how Cool Water Parfum does. You can find this in the sub $40 price point. Performance is about average to slightly above average, so it's not weak, but it's not super strong, but it definitely has a little touch of uniqueness to it, but not really a unique fragrance. Like, it's a fine line between saying something unique and extremely mass appealing, because this kind of falls in between where it's easy to like, but it's not as youthful and playful as most of your blue fragrances. That's why I say it kind of rides the line between those two things. Definitely worth checking out, though. It's an interesting scent that you can get for a great price point that not anybody's really talking about, and more than likely people around you aren't wearing. And it's Mercedes-Benz Man Grey. Next, this one's actually quite popular, and for good reason. It's one of the best blue fragrances to come out in a very long time. We're talking about Rochas L'homme. This is a lovely blue fragrance that's full of juniper and geranium. There's some nice mild green freshness to this fragrance, a little touch of citrus. Of course, there's some woods in the backdrop, kind of give it some little bit of staying power and backbone in the dry down. Performance, again, above average without being a beast. I paid 30 bucks for this tester. It came in a brown tester box with the cap on it. It has this little tester sticker on the back, but it's the same fragrance, just a little bit cheaper. You can still find it in the $35 to $45 range with the production box. If you want to save a few bucks more, go the route of a tester. Like I said, as long as I get the cap, I'm happy with going the route of the tester. But this is another one that's super versatile. The juniper here provides a nice gin hit with a bright aromatic touch, a little bit of fruitiness. The geranium provides a light minty freshness with this almost sweet floral tone, just a little touch of it, not a floral fragrance. So when I say that, don't think it's dominated by florals. Very beautiful fragrance. If nothing else, there's a nice herbaceous feel to this that's more on the mild side. Doesn't provide a ton of spice or anything like that. It's just super easygoing, very crowd-pleasing, mass-appealing type of scent profile. I can't see too many people not liking the way you smell when you wear this, at least in my experience, and I personally love the way this one smells. Like I said, this is one of those fragrances I was talking about. It's very popular, and I can see why. Because you can get it for a great price, and it does not smell like a $30 to $40 fragrance. Worth checking out. Rochas L'homme. This next one is a straight up Middle Eastern clone. It's from the house of Armaf, very popular house. You can get these fragrances really cheap. This particular one you can get in the mid-30s, and this one's a little bit polarizing. There's big fans of this fragrance, and there's some that it's too synthetic and sharp for them, and it's a pass. But it's worth checking out to see if you're going to like it, because my wife loves when I wear this one. We're talking about Club de Nuit Sillage from Armaf. This fragrance, on paper, it's actually hard to tell the difference between this and the actual Creed Silver Mountain Water. I recently did a blind smelling rate on the Curly Sense channel that I don't know when that video is coming out, and it was really, really, really freaking hard to tell the difference. I actually got it wrong and guessed the wrong one. We did clone versus original, and on paper, because it wasn't as strong on paper as the real deal, so that's what confused me, because it was hard to tell a quality difference. On skin, blatantly obvious quality difference. That would have been easy. But I'll tell you what, for $36, $34 I think is what I paid for it. Performance is great. It's bright, fresh, has a great sillage to it. The trail's pretty stout. Like I said, lasts a really long time. It brings the best of Creed's Silver Mountain Water without the quality, obviously. You're not touching Creed's quality here with Armaf, but the scent profile is pretty damn accurate. I have several Silver Mountain Water clones at this point, and I think on skin, out in the air, even on paper, especially on paper based on recent experience, it's pretty hard to tell a difference. You have to really get them on skin and do a side-by-side to really, that'll be the blatantly obvious differences. But on paper and out in the air, if people know what Creed Silver Mountain Water smells like, they'll probably think you're wearing it, because it's a damn good clone in my opinion, and it's one of the Armaf fragrances that I stand by and say is worth trying. You get a sample, get a decant online, something like that. Try it out. I wouldn't advise blind buying, because there's a chance you may not like it, but there's also a huge chance you may love it. But it's definitely worth checking out for the money. That's Armaf, Club de Nuit Sillage. Next is a beautiful citrus mint aquatic fragrance, one of the better flankers in the Azzaro Chrome line. We are talking about Azzaro Chrome Aqua. This is one that I've been kind of neglecting recently, and I did a top 10 favorite Azzaro fragrances in my collection. This is one of my favorites, obviously, and it kind of rekindled the passion for this scent profile to where it's got me in the mood to spray it, to smell it, to wear it. It's just a great fragrance. Sub $40 price point, you can get a 100 ml these days. Definitely sub $50. If you're looking for a 50 ml, you can get it around $30, and it's a solid performer. Another one that's not really a beast, but it's not that weak. If you're looking for a monster performer, go with Chrome Extreme, but you're going to lose some of the herbaceous feel of this fragrance and the mintiness that makes it one of the more unique Chrome flankers if you go the route of Extreme. Admittedly, Extreme is my absolute favorite version of Chrome. This is the most interesting version of Chrome, in my opinion, because it's got this teal color. It's a beautiful bottle, and it's called Aqua, so you do get that aquatic feel. It's not just a straight-up shower gel scent. There's a beautiful, mouth-watering, almost tart-like citrus at the top, and like I said, there's this light herbal, dry herbal feel in the base. I believe it's some mate is in here. God, it's just so good to smell at the atomizer even, with a nice aquatic tone, so it does fall into the theme and the name of the fragrance. There is some C notes in here, if I remember correctly. Beautiful fragrance. Beautiful. It really is. This is one of the Chrome fragrances that I say is absolutely worth trying, because with so many Chrome flankers out there, it's hard to know what's better than the rest, because they're all pretty good. None of them are actually bad based on the ones I've tried, but some are definitely better than others, and this is one of the few. It's definitely better than the rest. Worth checking out. It's Azzaro Chrome Aqua. There was a time when this fragrance got a lot of love here in the community, and it doesn't get that much anymore. From time to time, I'll see a scent of the day post, usually in the spring and the fall, because it's not the best summertime fragrance. But if you like pineapple, you like more ambroxan, amberwood type of fragrances, this is more amberwood than it is ambroxan. It's kind of like a sweeter version, if you will, of Dior Sauvage. We're talking about Coach Platinum. Beautiful juicy fruit pineapple note. There's a lovely dose of amberwood here. Still has a little bit of that suede feel from the original. It's not quite as fresh as the original. A lot of vanilla here as well. So it's sweet and fruity at the top, and then it's sweet creamy vanilla in the dry down with a nice dose of amberwood. And like I said, a little bit of suede leather that really provides a little bit of depth to this fragrance. Performance, slightly above average. Again, not super long lasting, but not a weak fragrance. You can find this in the sub $40 price point for 100 mLs. It's absolutely worth trying. Now, when I say like Dior Sauvage, it doesn't smell exactly like Dior Sauvage. This definitely has a large twist. There's several things in here that is not found in there. There's faint similarities because here it's more amber wood, which is that warm, synthetic, woody type of feel that can come across as a certain take on ambroxan, which it technically is a different take on ambroxan. It's not quite as shower gel ambroxan. Amberwood's more of a warm wood type of smell. Synthetic warm wood, but warm wood nonetheless. And it's definitely very appealing. My wife enjoys when I wear this one. It's one that I haven't been wearing recently, that this particular fall that we're about to transition into, I plan on reaching back for this one, because this is a damn good fragrance that doesn't get any love anymore, and shame on me, I haven't been giving it enough love either. But this is a cheap fragrance that's definitely worth checking out. If you can find a sample somewhere, check it out. I know a lot of people in the community that love this fragrance, and you might end up being one of them after you try it. It's Coach Platinum. This still very well could be my pickup of the year. Haven't been wearing it recently. I went pretty hardcore with wearing it for a little while when I first got it. I'm a big advocate for this. It's kind of like taking the best of both worlds from Versace Pour Homme and Chanel L'homme Sport. We're talking about Missoni Wave. Yes, yes, yes. Try this fragrance. They have carded samples all over the place online. I've seen eBay, places like that. You can find it pretty easily. Just spend a few dollars and try it for yourself. I call it the Chanel L'homme Sport Killer. Is it quite on the level of quality as Chanel? No. But it definitely smells like a better take on Versace Pour Homme for sure, because it borrows a lot from Chanel L'homme Sport. It has the creaminess. It has that sweet floral tone. It's a vanilla orchid note here, so you have this creamy orchid smell. Light sweetness, definitely aquatic, very aromatic, a little soapy, not super soapy, with a nice dose of citrus up top. There's actually a decent amount of depth and a good bit of character to the scent profile. For me, it performs a little bit above average, 6 to 7 hour range on my skin. Again, not a beast, but not weak. That's kind of the story with most of the fragrances in this video, but this is one of my personal favorites. Like I said, I am an advocate for this particular fragrance. This is some good stuff right here. Definitely one I encourage you to try. If you're only going to try one of the Missoni fragrances, Parfum Pour Homme's good too, don't get me wrong, but this stuff stands out. Definitely worth trying. It's Missoni Wave. Can be found for $23 at Burlington. Check your Burlingtons for these Banana Republic fragrances. I think this is the best one of all of them. I haven't tried literally every one, but I've tried like 80% of them. I own about 80% of the Icon line. We're talking about Tobacco and Tonka Bean from Banana Republic in the Icon line. This is a beautiful, sweet, creamy, powdery tobacco scent. Has a little bit of a cooling type of smell to it. God, it's so good every time I smell it. If you don't like powdery, sweet powdery, you might not like this, because the Tonka Bean here is sweet and powdery. A little bit of a cooling, almost vanilla ice cream type of feel. Slight, to go with this smooth, not very earthy, more creamy, smooth type of tobacco smell. This is a beautiful fragrance. There's other things going on here, but there's a reason these two notes are on the name of the fragrance, because it's the most dominant notes. And performance is above average. Again, like I said, kind of the theme with most of the fragrances in this video. Not a beast in my experience. Like a 6-hour fragrance, which for 23 bucks, for the quality of the smell, the way it smells, and 6 hours of life on my skin, pretty damn hard to complain about in my opinion. I don't know how easy it would be to get a sample of this. Maybe go to a Banana Republic store. They may have testers. I'm not sure. I normally don't shop at Banana Republic. I've never been in one of their stores. But it's definitely a great fragrance. Maybe, I don't want to encourage you blind buy, but you could do a lot worse with 23 bucks. More than likely, you're going to like this one as long as you like sweet and powdery. Just be warned, it's sweet and powdery. Not a boozy tobacco, not a spicy tobacco. A sweet, powdery tobacco. It's beautiful stuff, really is. Definitely worth looking into. Banana Republic's Tobacco and Tonka Bean. So here's one that's great that doesn't get any love anymore because it spawned some great flankers. Wanted by Night, great flanker. The Most Wanted, my favorite flanker. The Most Wanted Parfum, the most recent, great flanker. I even like Wanted Tonic. Most people aren't a fan of that. People bring up Free Ride every time I talk about the Wanted line. That's just a special edition version of this, the original Wanted. Free Ride is this in a limited edition bottle. Just like Invictus Onyx is Invictus in a limited edition bottle. This is a beautiful, sweet, and spicy fragrance. You will get that, speaking of Invictus, hit of Invictus, that sweet aquatic tone, but it settles into a much more warm and spicy fragrance rather quickly. Nice dose of cinnamon. There's a little bit of a green herbal feel. A lot of dense woods in the backdrop for this fragrance. And performance is great. And you can find like a 50 ml like this, like right around $28 to $32. 100 mLs in the sub $40 price point, mid-30s range from discounters. This is the fragrance that started it all for this line. It's underappreciated at this point because, like I said, the flankers are just so damn good, but they do kind of veer off the path from this scent profile. Wanted by Night's the closest one to the original. If you've only smelled the Most Wanted and the Most Wanted Parfum, the two newest ones, then you're not really that familiar with this scent profile because the spices and the sweetness tie together, sure, but it's not the same sweetness and the same spice that you will find in here. Like I said, underappreciated these days. Flying under the radar, nobody's really talking about it anymore, and it's a great fragrance that has great performance that you can get away with for being as warm and spicy as it is. You can get away with it in the summer, and it's great for the other 3 seasons. It really shines spring, fall, and definitely works well in the winter. Check this one out if you haven't yet. Sometimes it's best to know where they started with the original DNA. That's Azzaro Wanted. A superstar fragrance from yesteryear. Beautiful, juicy citrus, grassy green freshness, Carolina Herrera 212 Men. Yep, it never gets old. It never will get old, in my opinion. People have screamed reformulation. And yeah, it's not quite the same as it was 15 years ago, but it's still pretty damn good. Sub $40 price point, 50 ml like this, still pretty damn good. Works great in the warm weather, definitely transitions very well into the fall. That's one of the reasons we're talking about this fragrance in this video, because I'm currently in a transitional phase where it's in the 70s every day. We're starting to move into fall season weather. So fragrances like this are perfect for that because you still get a bit of freshness and citrus. It's bright, fresh green, which makes it great, in my opinion, for spring, but also those warm weathers starting to get milder to the cooler weather. Really good stuff. Slightly average to slightly above average, in that range. 6-ish hour fragrance on my skin. Sometimes it goes a little bit better than that. It all depends on your skin. You may get phenomenal performance out of this fragrance, or you may get 2 or 3 hours. Just depends on your skin and how quickly you go anosmic to things, but it's definitely never going to get old, in my opinion. I used to have a bottle of this years ago. Still has the magnetic cap that it's been known for. Just such a beautiful green fragrance. Citrus and green. It's that simple. A little bit of woods in the background, but the main thing is juicy citrus. I believe it's grapefruit. And this grassy green smell. Not fresh cut grass, but kind of like green leaves type of thing. It's really good stuff. Check this one out if you haven't yet. It's a cheapie that's still worth checking out after all these years. Carolina Herrera 212 Men. Well, that's the 10 that I have for you today. And until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. I do appreciate all the feedback. And I love hearing from you guys. What are some cheap fragrances that you're just thrilled that you decided to check them out? Whether it was getting a sample or just happened to be a successful blind buy. You know, let me know down in the comments. I'm very curious. And also, did anything you heard about any of these fragrances in this video spark your interest to make you feel like maybe you should give them a try and find a way to get your nose on them? I'd love to hear about that as well. And until next time, I will say if you get your hands on any of these 10 and you give them a spray now, pretty confident you'll thank me later because these are some really good bargain fragrances. Have a good one, guys.